Before the 1950s, little was known about the deepest ocean trenches, but that they were deep, cold, and very difficult to explore. Scuba diving scientists were filming beautiful images of sea life near the surface, where water was warm and teeming with life, but the deepest parts of the ocean were largely inaccessible. Exploring ocean trenches became the purview of a small but adventurous subset of ocean scientists. They study the deep sea with the technology available to them, but taking pictures at these great depths remained impossible until the 1960s.
By the earliest 60s, two things were done that allowed us to begin to sample, to get back samples and so on of different kinds from such areas. And one of them was the development of very, very strong wire, cable, about 3/8 of an inch in diameter, that was very, very strong.
The other innovation was a device that allowed them to control a camera dangling on a wire miles below the ship.
A man from MIT, of all places, Dr. Harold Edgerton, had in the 1930s developed an instrument called the stroboscope. The stroboscope could stop motion at thousandths of a second for photography.
Working with Scripps scientists, Edgerton adapted his timing circuits for use in a deep-sea underwater camera. The circuits controlled the lights and shutter speed of the camera, while a separate Edgerton innovation, a sounding device called a pinger, sent signals up to the ship that allowed the scientists to keep track of where the camera was in relation to the bottom of the ocean.
You could take pictures every 15 or 20 seconds at essentially any depth with a camera that was hanging on a very, very long cable to the bottom. But the cameras were very, very expensive, so you had to know when it was down near the bottom. You take the ship going downslope, you tow this with thousands and thousands of meters of wire out, you poise this maybe 1 or 2 meters above the bottom and try to move it downslope. Because if you're moving downslope, you're less likely to catch the camera on some large rock or something that is down there and manage to lose it.
In 1967, with the camera apparatus attached to almost 8 miles of cable, Fisher photographed the Tonga Trench, the second deepest spot on Earth. The photos documented the geology of the Tonga Trench and solidified what Fisher and other geologists of the time suspected, that ocean trenches were actually sites where one tectonic plate was sliding beneath a neighboring plate.
When I defended my thesis in 1957, I called that the creeping crustal layer. Since then, almost every school child has learned to call that subduction.
Fisher says that some people were disappointed that the deep sea cameras didn't capture sea monsters or other strange creatures lurking in the trench. But the seafaring scientists of the 1960s were quite satisfied with the haul. The scientific data Fisher was able to collect with his cameras and later a deep-sea dredge helped shape the modern theory of plate tectonics.